There are more than 300 species of bats in Africa, but despite the critical role they play, controlling insects and dispersing seeds and pollen, very little is known about them. One thing is certain, a fifth of Africa's bat species are threatened and the population is declining. They are hunted for bushmeat, their resting sites are disturbed and their habitats are being destroyed. Join us on an adventure to find Rwanda's remaining bat colonies, from their own private island on the Lake Kivu to nighttime trapping excursions by a Kenyan bat scientist. Watch Rwanda wildlife researchers teach kids not to be afraid of bats and learn to love what they do for us instead. And get a space eye view of bat migrations by satellite, collecting data up in space. Bat researchers here in Rwanda are facing a major mystery. In times, entire colonies of bats will disappear from their roosting grounds. And where are they going? Researchers out there in the world do not know yet, but with the help of intelligent sensors placed on the animals themselves, they aim to find out. The project is called ICAHUS, or the International Corporation of Animal Research Using Space, is ready to blast off. From Kazakhstan, a large antenna was rocketed up into the International Space Station. The project was 16 years in the making and pulled together scientists and engineers from a variety of countries in a once-in-a-generation effort. Antennas mounted on the space station can now send critical biological data back to the Earth that remarkably is being collected by the bats and other animals themselves. A tiny GPS monitor mounted on their back can track animal migrations all over the world, plus record temperatures and humidity, turning any animal into an environmental sensor. Researchers can watch hundreds of animals at the same time as the antenna flies over the landscape like a scanner and sucks up the data. Huge antennas are needed to pick up signals from the tiny animal transmitters, which communicate with the space station that is 400 kilometers away using only a few milliwatts of power. We will soon see a sensor network spread across the world based on intelligent animal sensors that work better than the mechanical ones and can be used to predict the spread of diseases, monitor climate change, and even predict natural disasters with the help of bats and other tagged animals.
So they have transparent wings.
But most bat research has to happen on the ground. When we heard Kenyan and Rwandan researchers were planning to catch bats for an upcoming book, we rushed to Nyagatare, the eastern part of Rwanda, where we met an old friend.
We are trapping the bats around the river Muvumba. We are anxious to see what we shall get, basically. So it's also like to be a discovery to us. Let's see how many we get.
Okay, let's get to work then.
Professor Paul Webala brought his mist nets all the way from Kenya, and they're designed just to capture bats.
Why are we trapping these bats at night? Why can't we trap them during the day?
They live to fly at night,
At
in
night.
the evening. So they go to forage.
Okay.
So we trap at night because they come out to forage at night.
The majority of bats eat night-flying insects, including many agricultural pests. As the primary predators of night-flying insects, bats play a significant role in controlling insect populations. Estimates from studies show that some bats eat more than 70% of their weight in insects each night, and some pregnant females devour up to 100% of their body weight.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think about the people here? Do they like these bats or they don't really like the idea? Because, you know, there are rumors about bats.
The problem is, the issue is that, and here, like any other place in Africa, people are not aware of bats. I think bats are only one species. The truth of the matter, there are different species, and there's a lot of misinformation about bats. So they have a very negative attitude towards bats. Some people believe they are ghosts.
Yeah.
Others believe they have myth. That if you see them in your homestead, somebody will die.
In fact, bats can be lifesavers. A single little bat can eat up to 1,000 mosquito-sized insects in a single hour, including those spreading malaria. But until recently, the destruction of the bat's ecosystem and how it can lead to their extinction has received very little attention.
Well, yeah, it's getting dark. But otherwise, once we get our nets up ready, we'll wait for some bats and see if we can catch some.
So we expect that bats will fly from over there through this place. These openings are called flyways.
Flyways.
So we target flyways. When they are coming out to forage,
Yes.
when they are commuting between roosting areas and foraging areas, they fall around flyways. So hopefully they will have to fly through here. And when they do, they fall in those nets.
Okay.
And we can extract them from the nets. So now it's a time for waiting and see what gets trapped.
Okay.
What captured, yeah.
We can't see them, but the bats are out there.
What is this gadget that you have here?
This is called a bat detector. And what it does is that it records calls of bats.
Calls of bats.
So the bats call at high frequency.
Okay.
So what this does is that it uses the high frequency call that we can't hear to the level that we can hear. So they emit the sound through the mouth, and when the sound hits objects, it bounces back, and that's why it's called echolocation.
So the sound that it's making, those are bats flying around?
So bats are flying around, definitely they're flying around.
That's amazing, amazing. Should we go check out the bats?
Yes, I think we should go and check the nets. This one has nothing. There's no bat that's captured here.
Bats can't see, but they can hear in the dark. Flying bats hunting insects emit high-frequency sound waves from their nostrils or mouth. The sound waves bounce back from solid objects to the bats' highly sensitive ears. That's how they find their food and avoid crashing into obstacles.
Nothing as well here. Oh, there is.
Oh.
There is, yes.
So we set up a total of 3 nets. The first 2, unfortunately, we did not catch anything. But finally, on the third one, we caught ourselves a bat. Amazing, isn't it, huh?
It's called little free-tailed bat.
A little free-tailed bat.
Little free-tailed bat.
Okay.
And it's called, scientifically, it's called Chirophon pumilus. So the moment you find a bat, you quickly get it out of the net. Otherwise, it gets stressed, but it can also easily escape by chewing its way out.
Is it safe?
What, it's alive, man.
Paul Webala is a Kenyan wildlife biology professor, published author, and regional bat expert. He is primarily a community ecologist, but his research focuses on improving bat conservation in both human-dominated and wild landscapes.
Okay? Because these habitats have been destroyed due to agriculture and urbanization, these bats are now living with human beings in ceilings of buildings. Humans have destroyed their natural habitats, and therefore they have eventually, learned how to live with us in buildings. These ones have transparent wings, and are very beautiful to watch when they fly around. They are high flyers. They can't fly in dense vegetation because of the narrow wing. So often our people think that these birds are neither birds nor mammals. The fact of the matter is that they are mammals. So for example, if I want to collect its fecal material,
Okay.
to be able to know which insect they feed on, we analyze their fecal material, their feces. So I'm going to store it here. We're really satisfied with the work we've done tonight.
But there is still a place that is home to just bats, and there are thousands of them. That is where we'll visit when we come back. For our next stop on our bat tour of Rwanda, we head to the Lake Kivu, near the town of Kibuye, to Napoleon or Bats Island.
It's a beautiful sunny day here in Karongi district, in the western part of Rwanda. We're heading to the Napoleon Island, an island that is known for inhabiting a lot of species of bats. But I'm here with Claire from the Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association, and she's going to tell us more about these bats that we find at the island. Claire, tell us, what type of bats are we going to find at the Napoleon Island?
We are going to find fruit bats. They are called Eldon Helvo.
Eldon Helvo.
Yeah.
Bats are separated into two distinct groups, fruit eaters and insect eaters. Fruit-eating bats like the ones on the Napoleon Island feed on ripe fruits and play a role in plant pollination. The island in front of us is host to at least 50,000 fruit bats.
So why Napoleon Island?
Actually, it's called Napoleon Island because it has a shape, looks like Napoleon hat.
Oh, the general of, is it France?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yes, I can see the French hat design there.
Yeah.
As we landed on the island and made our first steps inland, a strange sound could be heard everywhere.
So George, can you hear the voice?
Yeah, I can hear the voices.
Yeah, those
over
are
there.
bats.
Oh, that's the sound they make.
Yeah,
Okay, but they sound like birds.
not really. Those are bats.
So you told me these fruit bats rely on eyesight to see food and all that.
Yeah.
But then this sound that they're making, what is that for?
They can use it for communicating.
Oh,
Yeah.
Some bats were already circling over us. I could already pick out their furry little bodies and their mice-like heads and the enormous huge wings of the tiny bats. During the day, the bats are usually inactive, but that doesn't mean they are silent. As we approach the rocky summit, the noise and smell simply overpowering. And then, in a little clearing in the forest, suddenly we saw hundreds of these amazing mammals hanging upside down in clusters from the trees. The spectacle made us speechless, and we just stood motionless to absorb the sensory overload of their scent and sound.
So Claire, we are midway to the top of Napoleon Island, and now we are surrounded by clusters of bats. But there's a conception outside here saying that during the day the bats are resting or asleep. But here we see they are very active. Why is that?
Actually, bats are active in the night.
Okay.
Daytime they can be resting and they can be flying around. So there is a misconception that bats sleep in the day because people normally see bats flying away, going for foraging in the night.
Okay.
So they think because today, daytime they stay in the trees, so they are sleeping. Actually, they are not sleeping. They always be communicating, flying around. Yeah.
Mention the word bat and people begin conjuring up images of dark, evil, frightening creatures. Let us first allay some of the scary bat tales with truth. Bats are not blind and are highly unlikely to get entangled in your hair because they use sonar to avoid objects whilst in flight. Bats do not attack people and rarely carry diseases such as rabies. In fact, bats are a farmer's friend because they eat insects and pollinate plants. An average bat colony of 50,000 individuals eats some 15 tons of insects per year.
Yeah, so I can see even these bats are hanging upside down.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do they hang upside down?
Yeah, unlike birds, bats cannot fly like a helicopter because their wings are attached to the arms. Okay. So they hang upside down so that they be in a position, good position to fly away.
Oh, okay. Do the bats eat the fruits here, or do they go somewhere else and then eat from there?
The fruit you are seeing below,
Yeah.
there are bats who bloat them.
Okay.
So bats can fly 50 kilometers searching for food and come back here. So when they are dropping their fecal material, that's when they disperse fruits.
Okay.
Yeah,
So these fruits come from their fecal material.
exactly.
Fruit and nectar feeding bats pollinate many plants, including an estimated 450 commercial plants used by man. Bananas, peaches, guavas, mangoes, avocado, figs, dates, papaya, almonds, cashew nuts, vanilla, carob, and many more tropical plants are pollinated by bats. Fruit bats even pollinate our legendary baobab trees.
So, let's say this fecal material that you're talking about.
Yeah.
If it lands on me right now, I have no problem.
No, you have no problem.
The fecal material has nothing harmful to our body.
No, not really.
Okay.
Yeah. Unless the bat is contaminated and it gets in contact with your wound, yeah, you can get contaminated too.
Yeah, so I see how, like these clusters, how are they made? Is it like a family, like let's say the mother gives birth to its babies and they stay with it? How do the clusters come to happen?
Actually, when they are in the same family. So when they give birth, when mothers give birth, they can live with young ones. When young ones grown up enough, they can fly away and occupy other trees.
But most bats now don't live in wild seclusion. They have been forced to learn how to live right next to people. Other areas, very close to habituated places, virtually never see bat colonies disappear.
We're here in Ruhango district, right outside the school that we came to visit to teach them more about bats. And this is where we find this amazing colony of bats. There are thousands and thousands of them here. But what is surprising is that it's right next to a main road and a small trading center. We all know the bats' habitat is usually in the trees. Due to not conserving their habitat, the bats are forced to come and live with the human beings in infrastructure or in ceilings.
Ubucurama bwacu. Ubucurama bwacu. Ubucurama bwacu. Tubungabunge, oye, oye.
We joined Claire for a bat conservation lesson at a primary school in southern part of Rwanda.
Impapuro, muraza kubisubiza.
Due to their roosting habits, bats often come into conflict with people by occupying the roofs of houses, schools, offices, and community centers.
Wumva kiricho. Sibyo?
So what is your aim for coming to this school today?
We want to teach students, telling them the importance of bats and why it's so important to conserve them.
For adults, bats can be a nuisance. For children, they often inspire fear. Education, awareness, and ethical solution is what should be the way forward for reducing the human-wildlife conflict with bats.
Kugira ngo wumve ibyo turaba twasize.
ntabwo ujya wumva sitori z'ukuntu ngo uducurama ngo dufite amashitani.
I had a chance to talk to some of the students at the school, and they clearly knew what the bats were, but they didn't know the importance they have for the conservation of nature. But luckily, they did not believe the scary myths about bats. Okay, so Claire, you've been teaching these kids more about bats,
Yeah.
and we can see you have some questionnaires for them to know more about bats.
Yeah.
What is the common misconception about bats? What do these kids tell you when you ask them about bats?
Oh, actually, these kids don't know more about bats, so
Yeah.
we have been giving them questionnaire so that we can get to know which perception they have on bats.
Okay.
So this questionnaire contains questions, 6 questions, asking them if they know bats and what would they do if they see people chasing bats.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Rwanda Wildlife Conservation Association has come to Chibungo to teach these kids the value of bats, how to preserve them, and how to take care of them. And hopefully, they will take the lessons they have learned back home to their parents. By saving bats, they may be saving themselves.